Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Football, TITTH number 191. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got my co-host, Stephen Hammond, with me this magical Monday. Happy Monday, sir. How are we doing?
What's going on, Justin? Joe Flacco back in the NFL. You love to see it. Good news on a Monday. Or back starting, I should say.
Is that going to be the case? I guess they're just going to give him the reins? Well, why not? He's familiar with them. He was one of their backups last year, wasn't he?
Yep.
All I heard from that when I saw that was just like, we are one step closer to Minshew Mania. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We are right there. We are right there. I'm knocking on the door. Jalen Hurts took a nice little loss on the road. Maybe a couple more pile up, and it's Minshew Mania. It's Minshew time. I'm with it. I'm all about it. Look out for your waiver wire in those deep leagues. I'm going to be on some Minshew, that's for sure. Go spend your FOB because I'll be after him. How are you doing though? How's your week 7 going? How are your highs and lows? What do you need from tonight?
So really in some of my leagues, I had to punt this week just because I was killed by bye weeks. So I mean, I was throwing some rosters out there that had Kenyon Drake, Tua, and Brandon Bolden all in one. Okay. It ended up working out. They all three went well. Yeah. So, but then I also sat Brandon Bolden in the league, in our sleeper league. So, hey, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still riding off that nice high from Thursday night, some Dearness Johnson. Stacked up that with some Allen Lazard. That was pretty nice too. Not some low moments. Maybe I got a little bit too aggressive. Maybe trying to get a little bit too tactical with the Tyler Johnson starts. Saw Antonio Brown out. He's looking pretty good the past couple of weeks for Tampa Bay in that slot role, playing behind Godwin and Evans. But man, Tom Brady was like, "No, we're making a point. We're putting them in their faces." I didn't really like how the Bears treated me last season. I didn't like the fourth down talk, bantering at the GOAT. So he stuck one in our faces. That's all right. That's no problem. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they got it done. A little sad Tyler Johnson didn't. He could have at least hit the prop. I put him in my fantasy lineup. I took the over 2.5 catches. I was invested. Let's say a little too heavily invested. And I also did start Tyler Johnson over Allen Lazard in my my Scott Fishbowl league, but that's all right because I'm nowhere near close to losing that. That's for sure. Taken off in the Scott Fishbowl. First in points in my division, second in record. Someone's undefeated. So what are you going to do? Let's jump into our best bets for tonight. We got Jake in the chat. DeWentz sliders turned down, right, Jake? Those interception sliders. What are your best bets for tonight, Steve? Any props you're taking?
So I got Kamara 2 anytime touchdowns. I also like that with an anytime touchdown. I think that's easy. I think you have a big game coming off the bye. So yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, good matchup for Kamara. Absolutely. Steve and I both have Kamara for 2 anytime touchdowns. It's probably, I'm assuming, because both of us were like, oh, well, Kamara anytime TD, give me that. And then you saw the odds for an anytime TD, right? Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And then you're like, you know what? Go ahead and give me 2. Give me that plus money. You know what? Let's have some fun. Let's gamble, right? So I as well have the Kamara anytime touchdowns too. And then I also have over 34.5 reception yards. That actually came down from about 42 when Traquan Smith was out of the lineup. They gave me more value with him in the lineup, and I don't know really what he's going to do tonight. I mean, I suppose if you're one of those folks that are really hurting and you need somebody for tonight still, go grab Traquan Smith. He's not going to do much for you just for next week. If you can somehow add somebody, if you're like in a big, big wedge, big problem. We got Donnie in the chat. What's up, sir? Saying the boys. Yes, sir. We are going to jump into our monkey knife fight props to get things started here, and then we will jump into our Monday Night Football game preview. First up, I've got fantasy points. Tyler Lockett versus Marquez Callaway. 12.5 points for Tyler Lockett and 10.5 for Callaway. I like the over for Lockett, and I think I'm going to take the under for Callaway with Traquan Smith coming back. I'm not sure what his role is going to be, but I'm assuming they're activating him because they need him. They have Deontay Harris out. So I'll go over for Lockett and under for Callaway. What do you think, Steve?
So I think the Lockett number is going to be right there, sitting close to 12. So it's obviously a good line. So
Hmm.
I'm going to go under for Lockett. They're
Okay.
just still depleted at quarterback.
Hmm.
I don't know if Lockett will be his main target. I'm going to actually go over on Callaway. I think he has a big game. Traquan Smith being back doesn't do enough for me. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go opposite of you. I'll go under
Okay.
on Lockett, over on Callaway.
Yeah, I love Lockett's matchup up against Paulson Adebo, rookie Paulson Adebo. Marshawn Lattimore going to be on DK Metcalf. I think DK Metcalf can still have a good game, but I think he'll be around like that 4 or 5 catch range, similar to last week. Excuse me. Magino Smith really didn't look that bad up against the Steelers. 209 passing yards, quick burn them outs, nothing really, or not a lot downfield. Didn't throw any interceptions. His only interception was against the Rams when he came to fill in, and they were just trying to chuck the ball down the field anyway. So I think they're going to have a good game plan tonight. I like the Seahawks, and I really like that matchup for Lockett. For Callaway, I'm just really not sure what they're going to be doing. If they're going to be trying to pass to Kamara, trying to get more touches back to Smith with him in the back in the lineup. Not sure there. So I'm going to stay away from him. We got Jake in the chat. Jake, you are going to lose your chat privileges if you put up any more Rashad Penny props. Okay? That's your one and
I
only
like
warning,
it.
sir.
I like it, Jake.
Of course I like it. I go make that money, Jake. I'm all about it. But don't you be putting Rashad Penny into the chat like that. Don't be doing that. What do you say? That Geno INT, the Lockett tip ball? Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. Paulson Adebo. Good matchup for Lockett. I like it today. Next up, we've got Alvin Kamara versus Alex Collins in rushing yards. For Alvin Kamara, we're looking at 90.5 rushing yards. For Collins, we're looking at 48.5. I am going to take the under for Alvin Kamara. I think he is going to do more receiving work today, and I'm going to take the over for Alex Collins. He was a true identity for the Seahawks attack last week up against the Steelers. Looked amazing on many drives. I think that he's going to have a lot of opportunity to go over the 48.5. What do you think?
Yeah, so I'm in agreement. I think you nailed it with Kamara. 90 is just too tall of a number for him rushing. He's so talented in the passing game. And he can get a bulk of his work through that. So I like the under on him, and I'm going to go over on Alex Collins. A little worried about his health, but if he's in the game, healthy all game, I think I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity there. I mean, he could get 18 plus carries, a couple yards per carry. I mean, the Saints rushing defense is good. They're second in the league for yards allowed, but that front seven for the Steelers last week, I was expecting to do a lot more damage up against the rushing attack of the Seahawks, and that just wasn't the case. Like I said, like Alex Collins was just moving them down the field. So I'm expecting him to have a similar role this evening and be well involved in the offense. So definitely give me the over 48.5 rushing yards. Let's jump into our preview here. We've got some line movement. We've got the line now up to, what is it? -5.5 in favor of the Saints. Saints laying minus about 210, 238 on the money line. A little bit more leverage or action has come in on them recently, and the total is still at 41.5 points. So 50% of the public was in on this number, or I should say split. It was 50-50 at the -4. Now that we've gotten to -5.5, the public's in favor of the Saints, like 52 to 48% on the spread. The total is very interesting. The total hasn't moved. It's stayed at 41.5, but the public went from 79% on the over down to 70-30. So I think that has to play a role with the weather. Where are you at with this one, Steve? Are you taking either of these teams' money line? You taking the spread? What do you like the total? What do you see here?
I threw the Saints in a few parlays, but obviously there's a lot of juice with that money line. I think I gotta ride with the Seahawks to at least cover that 5.5. That number has really climbed. I would have loved it at 4 or laying 4 for the Saints, but 5.5 is just too tall for me. As for the over under, I mean, with that weather, that's gonna play a huge factor. We saw last night how big that came into play. So I will take the under here, but if it's not as bad as we are imagining, this will probably be an easy over.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of the public's in on this. It's moved down from the 79 to 70%. So I see the sharp money taking the under. That's where I want to stay. I mean, I was on the under, honestly, before I even saw the weather report, but that was also before I saw all the actives. We got Traquan Smith coming back. We've got Quan Alexander coming back for the Saints as well. The Seahawks also have Rashad Penny coming back. Does that play a difference in this game? I don't think so, but we'll see. Good luck to the prop, Jake. We'll We'll see what happens there. Anytime TD. So someone's got to run the ball. Collins is banged up. Homer is more of a screen surprise play. Correct. Absolutely. I don't think Collins is that banged up. I think it was more just about rest. Like they saw that he's really like all they have. They had to keep him fresh. So they were just keeping him out of practice. But I do like the Seahawks to cover. I took them at +4. I really would have liked +5.5, but I'm going to have to ride out that 4. I got it in a little bit earlier. And for as close as things have been, at least, where the betting action is coming in, the odds are really in favor of the Saints. I don't like that. They're really trying to push us to the spread, and they're trying to push people to bet the Saints at -5.5 because they're taking away the value at -228 on the money line. So I really like the Seahawks to cover this one. You got to love home dogs in prime time. That adds an extra layer there. Are there any key matchups that you're seeing that would lend favor to the Seahawks to just outright win?
No, not necessarily to the Seahawks. I feel like I think everything's kind of, to me, leaning towards the Saints. Really, I just think a big matchup is Lattimore and DK. I think if you could kind of shut down DK, that's really going to stall this Seahawks offense. So I think that's really what it is. I don't see much hope here for the Seahawks.
Well, I think Tyler Lockett's going to be a shining spot for sure. I think Alex Collins is going to be the same. I agree with you that Metcalf could get slowed down at certain points in this game for sure, but I still think that he'll, collect, some targets, inside like the 15-yard line off the line of scrimmage. Geno Smith definitely going to be a more of, shorter passer, right? He's not going to be having those big downfield targets. At least I don't hope so. I don't want to see him turn the ball over when I got the Seahawks covering the spread. So I think he's going to, manage the game. They're not going to try to overload, DK with a lot of downfield targets, and it's going to be a lot of dink and dunks to Collins, maybe Penny, as Jake was alluding to in the chat, and definitely Tyler Lockett for sure. The passing offense for the Saints, it's not that great. 31st in the league. I think the Bears are the only team behind them. Seahawks passing defense isn't great either. They're 30th, but you just don't have a ton of leverage there. And I don't think Traquan Smith coming back really boosts the Saints offense by any means. Maybe if they had him and Deontay Harris, they have a little bit of extra depth there. Or if they had, excuse me, I don't know why my brain is slipping. Taysom Hill. I was about to say Ian Book, but if they had Taysom Hill in the lineup, maybe they could do a few more things, just a few more creative plays, end around reverses, some sweeps, or, just some straight up Taysom Hill dives in the red zone. So I still like the Seahawks here. Think they have a plenty of opportunity to take this one. Anything to close it down with before we jump to the waiver wire?
No.
All right, cool. So definitely Traquan Smith if you need somebody tonight. If you're really hurting, somebody's out. I know my opponent started Deontay Harris tonight. I'm not sure if he could drop. Yeah, if he could drop him, go grab Traquan Smith. I don't know if he's available in that league, but I have an opponent starting Deontay Harris, so I've seen crazier stuff. Let's just jump right into it here. First up, Kenny Gainwell. Looks like Miles Sanders might be a little bit beat up. Kenny Gainwell getting another touchdown this week. A name that we've been banging the drum on all season, all preseason. Right now, only 21% rostered on Yahoo. Ready to spend some money on Kenny Gainwell, Steve?
I own plenty of shares, so I would tell everyone else yes. I will say buckle up because it's a roller coaster. I've started him when I think he's going to, score a touchdown and he gets 1 point on the day. But he does have that upside there, as we've seen in 3 games so far this year. So, and with Miles Sanders banged up, hey, you got to take what you can at the starting running back.
No, absolutely. Definitely go out and get him. He's getting targets. He scored his touchdown last night early. It was like on their first drive. So definitely someone that you want to target. That was before Miles Sanders was even hurt. He was getting touches while he was there, getting more red zone touches than Miles Sanders. I think Kenny Gainwell is the future running back with Philadelphia. Definitely someone you want to go out and roster, even if it's
Did we lose you? I don't know. It sounds like a robot, or it's me. Yeah, you sound like a robot to me. Maybe someone drop in the chat. Tell me.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh,
I know I
here
got
we
bad
go.
weather over here.
Here we go. We got you
You
back
good?
now. Yep.
Okay, very good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I know I got bad weather over here, so but maybe it
Definitely.
was just our connection with each other. Maybe everyone else is just watching us.
Yeah, literally just be like,
Can you
yeah, I
hear
can't
me?
hear
Can you hear?
you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? All right. Sorry, everybody. All right, moving on. This next guy definitely going to have a lot more opportunity this week on Thursday night. Allen Lazard coming off 2 big games, back-to-back touchdowns. 2 weeks ago, 3 for 5 on targets, 27 receiving yards. This last week, 5 for 6 on targets, 60 receiving yards, and a touchdown. It looks like Davante Adams might be out of Thursday Night Football. He's on the COVID list. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough time to get back.
Yeah, from everything I've heard is that Devontae Adams, it's more than likely he's going to be out for that Thursday matchup. So that's tough, but that opens the door here for Lazard. It's not necessarily the best matchup for him, as that Arizona defense has been tough. But you love to see the uptick in targets he's had. And yeah, I think it's maybe one you'd stream here. I don't love his matchups going forward. But if, Devontae Adams is going to miss this game, he's definitely a plug and play.
Oh, absolutely. So much availability there. And MVS is banged up. Your starting receivers are going to be Allen Lazard and Randall Cobb, it would look like. And Kwame St. Brown as well in that mix. So, yeah, going to be a lot of opportunity there. Definitely a Thursday night play I'm going to be looking forward to. Definitely fire up some Allen Lazard this week. All right, next up, CJ Uzomah. I mean, on our list again. He's been on our list a few times so far this year, coming off another big game, 3 catches, 3 targets, 91 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. The volume isn't there, but it's a booming production. Is this someone that you're ready to spend the bag on?
I mean, last week was impressive all the way around from the Bengals and Uzomah in that. So maybe it's one I'm looking to here and there pick and choose if I have to stream a tight end. Not necessarily am I dropping a bag yet on him just because we need some more consistency.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, when your tight end goes on a bye, or if you have Darren Waller who misses more time, yeah, it's definitely someone you could plug in. Bengals offense looks electric.
I've been loving the Bengals. Did you get them on the spread this week?
Yes, I did. I wish I could have took a money line.
I'm not gonna lie. Mine was a little bit riskier. I didn't take them prior to kickoff. It wasn't like in my best bets list. I just went with like my clean ones, and on my best picks, I went 3 for 4, so it's pretty good. But I did bet them live. I bet them live when they were tied at 10, and they were just getting the ball back. I'm like, all right, this is good. They're going to go down the field. They're going to score, and I got them at like plus 4.5 live. I was loving it. It was great. As soon as they scored that touchdown, they got a stop on the very next drive. I was like, all right, we're cooking. Let's go. And then obviously there was still some scoring from the Ravens after that, but they created that separation right after that. So that was an amazing feeling. I love when those hit. All right, next up, we've got someone coming off of a bye, Jamal Agnew. Been getting a fair amount of work for the Jacksonville Jaguars since DJ Shark went down with injury a couple weeks ago. So 3 weeks ago now, 6 catches on 7 targets. 2 weeks ago, 5 catches on 6 targets, 78 yards that game, 41 yards the game before. I mean, they're using him in a lot of unique ways, out of the backfield as a running back, getting catches back there, obviously just playing out of the slot and collecting some targets in the middle of the field. Jamal Agnew, spot start. What do you think?
Depending on how deep your league is, in like a 12-man, I don't think you're going to be doing that. They just want to get him the ball in space and let him work. Obviously, he's an all-pro, I believe, kick returner when he was with the Lions. So, I mean, they really want to just get him the ball and get him out there. And with them as depleted as they are, they're rolling even Tavon Austin out there as well. Like, I don't know. Very deep leagues. Yeah, this is definitely a good look, but I'm not going to be making a move on it.
Yeah, in the places that I own Jamal Agnew, they're deep spots for sure. I got him in Scott Fishbowl. I think I might have him in our dynasty league. Just someone to grab for, in a spot start. We got these buys. We're getting random injuries for as much time as playing time as he's getting. I think he's definitely worth owning. On Yahoo leagues, he's only 1% rostered. So there's definitely some opportunity there. I mean, in this scoring format, he had 8.5 and pretty much between 8.5 to 9 points, the past 2 weeks. And this is, the format that I have in front of me and Steve is, respectively a lower scoring format, like, 15 receiving yards per point, stuff like that. So, he definitely holds some value. And in those leagues where you're getting, a point per 10 yards reception, I definitely think he's worth a look. Definitely worth a look. All right, next up, another buy or another player coming off a buy, Pat Freiermuth digging into the deep bag for tight end. Coming off a solid performance, 7 targets with 7 catches with 58 receiving yards. Is this someone that you might sprinkle some love on your fob?
Yeah, I think he can. I don't think he'll get 7 targets necessarily every game, but if he can even get 4 to 5 in that range, I think he can be effective. And they want to get their rookie involved more, obviously. So I would actually. I like Freiermuth.
Yeah, I would grab Freiermuth too, especially if you're in a deeper format, kind of like you mentioned with Agnew, just hurting at the tight end position. Maybe you got injuries, maybe you got buys coming up, whatever it is. I think he's a solid fill-in spot, but more than likely, like you mentioned, like Agnew, in a deeper format, 5% rostered on Yahoo leagues or the Yahoo formats. Next up we have is a quarterback. Trey Lance, this is going to be kind of an interesting one here. I guess this is more of a question of who would you rather trust more going forward, is Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo? Let's say they're both healthy next week. Who would you rather have? Who would you rather pick up, I should say, off of waivers?
I think
you're not picking them up to start them, and they're more of like your stash.
Yeah. I'm going to go Trey Lance just because the upside he has that he can offer with his legs. You know what you're going to get from Jimmy. You have a bigger sample size. Actually, before Trey Lance was hurt last week, there were some leagues where I was like, all right, I might pick him up and just tuck him away at the end of my bench so no one else can have him in case he does, go on one of those crazy runs. He can make enough happen with his legs that you do have to kind of take that into consideration. Either one you're kind of stashing on your bench. I'll go Trey Lance.
I'm going to go Trey Lance as well. I mean, he's just shown that he has more of an upside, a higher ceiling, and he might be able to provide the offense just a different look, being able to run, double and triple options and things like that and play action just a little bit better. If he's healthy, honestly, at this point, I would start him over Jimmy. Like I'm a Jimmy guy. I bang the drum all the time saying he should be there. He should be the guy this year, but he's either not 100% healthy, not 100% on the same page with his teammates, or he needs all of them. He was missing Kittle last night. That definitely showed. He needs everybody there, and he's not a quarterback that can win with no numbers. Nobody behind him. So I'd go Lance, honestly, moving forward. If you're in some leagues where you have the opportunity, he is definitely worth a stash, in my opinion. Got the Fantasy Future podcast. Living in PGH, I was able to see Freiermuth in training camp, and the trust chemistry with Ben was immediately present. Yeah, that's awesome. Nice to see him coming along. Yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, they spent high draft capital on him, so you definitely want to see him come along like that, right? I'd certainly like if my boy Cole Kmet was getting a handful more targets each week. All right. Next up, we have another quarterback. This is again more of like a stash opportunity here. Daniel Jones coming off a strong performance, up against a strong defense like Carolina. They were in that game despite the lack of offense. Right, for most of that game, it was 5-3. The defense was holding on their end of the bargain, but you just couldn't get any offense rolling. So I actually think that performance was really good out of Daniel Jones. What do you think? Is he worth rostering? I mean, the schedule really isn't that bad coming up. We got KC, Vegas, Tampa's not great, but you can pass on him.
Yeah, no, I think he definitely does. What he can do, we've seen multiple good games from him this season. He's definitely a player that you have to be very, very selective with the matchups you're playing to. Like you alluded to, if they would have got things going earlier in the game versus the Panthers, he would have obviously had a much, much bigger game. So I think you could even start Daniel Jones at times, especially with bye weeks coming around.
Well, yeah, I love the matchup, the next two matchups, Kansas City and Vegas. I think those are great. I think he's going to do some damage against those guys. So definitely someone that I'd be looking to stash. Obviously, like in super flex leagues, he's probably scooped up, but not really a bad buy candidate if you want to buy low on somebody right now. The previous weeks before, they weren't that great, but this team's going to get healthier. Like they're going to get Kadarius Toney back. They're going to get Galladay back. I know Galladay's not having the greatest year right now, but each one of those weapons will add another layer to the offense and give him, a bit of upside. So definitely worth a stash or a buy low if you're looking at Dan Jones right now. Last one up here I have is AlieCox, another name that we just keep banging out every week.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's still available. 17% rostered on Yahoo leagues right now. The volume isn't there, but the touchdowns are, right? So out of his last 4 games, he either has a touchdown or 50 receiving yards. that's great for a tight end.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's huge.
That puts you really close to like tight end 8 or 9 like each week, as long as it's not like, National Tight Ends Week and everyone's scoring a damn touchdown because it's a pretend holiday now. Like get your tight end a card, a tight end near you. You know what I mean? Like, or a touchdown, whatever. But he's been looking great. 10 and a quarter, 8.4, 5.5, and 17.10 his last 4 games. Like, what's not to like, Steve?
Yeah, he's really turned it on here, and it's been consistent. You said maybe the targets, there's not enough volume there altogether, but it's consistent volume, in my opinion. You're going to get 3-4 targets for him, let's say, and he makes the most of them. He's a big-bodied receiver. He's a force in the passing game because it's tough for some of these positions to guard him. So yeah, I like Mo AlieCox, and I'll continue to bang this drum.
Yep, we're going to keep doing it every week until you guys just pick them up and get them over the 50%. Needs to be owned. All right, next up, we are going to be moving on to some ROS battles, rest of the season battles. We just got about 4 to go through here, and then we're going to kick it, get on to our Monday night, get on to some Monday Night Football. So, Steve, rest of the season, who would you rather have in fantasy, Ryan Tannehill or Derek Carr?
Man, I think Tannehill, because I think with the season going on, first off, they have matchups against Houston, Jacksonville, just being in their division, another one versus Houston after that, and then one versus Miami. Like his schedule really just lays very favorable for him. If they want to make that next step in the playoffs, I mean, they're going to have to really get their passing game going. You can't just, you can ride Derrick Henry's back to a degree, but you're going to have to get the stars. You went out and got Julio Jones, so you need to get him very involved. A.J. Brown, it was nice. I mean, we saw him kind of he had a touchdown on Sunday. So I think down the line, you're really going to see Tannehill and his offense gel just kind of by force, because they're going to have to be trying to get some things out, and they have matchups that will allow them to. Derek Carr, nothing really against him. He has an easier schedule as well, but he has some tough defenses in there. Got to play Kansas City, got to play Cleveland. It's tough. I'm not really high on many Raiders anymore ever since John Gruden left.
Really? I'm high on so many more of them now that he's gone. I love the Raiders now that he's gone.
No, I don't think it's necessary because I liked Gruden more than who they have now. It's just I need to see what I'm getting before that.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I loved what I've seen, since Gruden's left. From Derek Carr, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 interception since he's gone. I don't know if that means anything. Was it 664 passing yards the past couple weeks? I'm honestly going Derek Carr here just because of the safer floor. Because the Titans have Derrick Henry, they're going to use the hell out of him. You have Julio getting banged up. You have A.J. Brown in and out of the lineup. I don't know the consistency of them, down the stretch of this season. Derek Carr is doing it without anybody like that at receiver. I mean, Hunter Renfrow, Henry Ruggs, Bryan Edwards. I mean, he has Darren Waller. He's definitely a chain mover, definitely an alpha tight end, top 3 in the league, if maybe not top 2 now, probably ahead of Kittle. Sorry. So yeah, I'm going to go Derek Carr here. I also really love the schedule. He's going into a bye this week. Obviously not great, not going to be able to use him, but the Giants after the bye, KC, Cincinnati defense is sneaky good, but we even saw yesterday, the Ravens were able to do plenty of damage, keep everybody fantasy relevant, right? Dallas, Washington football team, KC again. I mean, honestly, until week 15, you have great matchups. If week 15, you're looking at Cleveland, beyond that, Denver, Indy, Chargers. I'm going to go with Derek Carr here. I know it's tough. I mean, I own both of these guys. I own Ryan Tannehill and Derek Carr in separate leagues, and every week in our league, I'm starting Ryan Tannehill every single week, right? I had to start him this week with Jameis Winston with Allen on bye, right? So I still like him a lot. I just see a more safer floor for Derek Carr without an RB1 right behind him, vulturing touchdowns in the red zone constantly. We got Driscoll in the chat saying Big Mac is going to be that bailout target for Wentz for sure. Mo AlieCox, I'm assuming. Yep, absolutely. All right, next up, ROS battle for the running back position. Leonard Fournette versus Damian Williams.
I might be a little bit biased. I guess I do technically have shares of both.
Mhm.
I'm going to go Leonard Fournette. I really like what he's brought into that offense. That offense moves the ball so well. They take a lot of deep shots down that end up giving him. He just gets to kind of skate right in for for
Mhm.
like a 4 yard run touchdown. He's not really getting even pushed for that job by Ronald Jones anymore. Gio Bernard only comes in on passing downs, but
Mhm.
Fournette still gets work in that aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Um, Damian Harris, he's had two really good weeks. I just worry about a Patriots team that an offense that I think you could see get stagnant at times.
Mhm.
That's more in the passing game. Than necessarily the running game. They've ran the ball well. He's topped the 100-yard mark twice. I think down the stretch he'll have tough ones. He's got Cleveland still on there,
Mhm.
Buffalo still on there, Indy, Buffalo again. I like Fournette because I don't think a matchup matters. But he's got Giants, Atlanta, Jets down the stretch, and two games
Mhm.
versus Carolina, who started the year. Maybe they can get it turned around.
Yeah, the rushing defense for Carolina has been good, but they are playing them, weeks 16 and 18. So it's going to be way at the back end. I don't know if that holds enough value for me to stay away from Leonard Fournette in this comparison. Damian Williams and Fournette are both on absolute tears right now, the past 2 to 3 weeks. That's why I think it's a good comparison, because you're looking at Damian Williams, who pretty much has that backfield to himself. Like, yeah, Bolden, has a role right now. Stevenson, when he's healthy, even JJ Taylor, he was stealing touchdowns, but he's the guy that's getting the most touches most consistently. It's really his room, or he holds the reins of the running backs there. But with that, there are other running backs there. You don't really need to be worried about Ron Jones, like you mentioned. They are always in the red zone. The Patriots. I'm sorry, the
Yes.
Patriots.
Oh, the
The
Bucks.
Buccaneers. Yeah, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Yeah, sorry. They're always in the red zone. They are always moving the ball down the field, and that's just going to give constant value and upside for Leonard Fournette every week, no matter what the opponent is. Like you mentioned, like treated the Bears rushing defense like Swiss fucking cheese. All right, like holes everywhere. Not an issue. They're great rushing defenses. Not going to be worried about Leonard Fournette in any of those matchups. So yeah, we both agree there on Leonard Fournette. Let's move on. Next up, we got the wide receiver ROS battle: Deebo Samuel versus Mike Evans. Mike Evans coming off a huge week. Was it three touchdowns this week?
Yep, yeah,
6 catches,
that's true.
76 receiving yards. Insane. Has a couple of other games with multi touchdowns. Week 5, 2 receiving touchdowns. Week 2, 2 receiving touchdowns. What do you like? The high ceiling opportunity of Mike Evans for the rest of the season, or the consistency of Deebo Samuel? Safer floor or higher ceiling? Which do you like here?
Yeah, it's really tough because Mike Evans, I feel like you kind of know what you're going to get,
Mm-hmm.
just because he's been so consistent every year that he's been here. So you know he's going to have these big games, and then he'll have some where he might only put up 27, but you hope for a touchdown in those. He's a big body in the red zone for them. Deebo Samuel doesn't have the quarterback play as well, but he's still been able to get it done a lot. They really use him because they have no one else. Ayuk's been a
Right.
dud.
Right.
I mean, they're running out Mohamed Sanu. I really didn't even know he was still in the league when I saw him out there on Sunday night. So it's tough because you do worry a little bit about Debo being able to continue to do this for the entire season. We
Mm-hmm.
haven't, got to see that from him, and oftentimes he's injured. Hence why we didn't see it. I think I'm going to go Mike Evans here just because I like the more secure, safe pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you there, but I am going to go with the safer floor with Deebo Samuel. He is the identity of their offense, right? Like, he gets the most snaps, he gets all the touches, he also gets special team touches, right? So they let him rush the ball, they let him catch the ball. Honestly, he's quarterback proof right now. I mean, he's played well with Lance, he's played well with Garoppolo, so I think he's just the guy, just because he doesn't have any competition for touches. You know what I mean? Like, you still have Godwin, you still have Antonio Brown. Gronk's going to come back and start stealing red zone touches and looks again, right? You still have both those running backs. I know Ronald Jones doesn't demand a big workload or touches, but they're still working in everybody. They're still feeding everybody. So, rather than being like the king of the crowd, I'm going to take Deebo Samuel, who's just literally the only guy there. So you got Debo. Hide your chains. Hide your chains. All right. Last one up here. Dallas Goedert or Zach Ertz. Dallas Goedert has his own tight end room. Zach Ertz has his own tight end room. What do you think?
Yeah, I like what you did there. Pit the former teammates against each other. I'm going to go Zach Ertz. I like him in this offense. It's a very good team. Down the season too, he's got some easier matchups for him.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback play is a huge question mark in Philly. Obviously, Goddard has still been able to produce with that. But you gotta like Ertz here. He came in first game with Arizona and already is acclimated. Scores his longest career touchdown on Sunday.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I didn't see that. Yeah, 3 for 5, 66 receiving yards, and one. He had a rush. He rushed. I don't know if he has any other career rushes, but one rush for 4 yards, and then the touchdown. Yeah, I love the upside just being in that offense, just keeping it really simple. Kyler Murray versus Jalen Hurts. Give me Kyler Murray. Give me the high-flying Arizona Cardinals. Realistically, you want every piece of that offense you can get, right? Like you want the Rondell Moores, you want the Kirks, you want the A.J. Green, Hopkins, Edmonds, Connor. Like,
yeah,
what's not to like about this offense right now? You know?
Yeah, they're clicking.
I don't have anything bad to say about him. Kyler Murray's holding me down. James Conner's holding me down. Hopkins really holding me down in multiple leagues.
Hopkins is holding you down.
Yeah. I got him in a couple of spots. So yeah, I've been loving the Redbirds. Got the Packers on Thursday. No Devontae Adams. That's going to be an interesting game. That's going to be an interesting one to get down and get after. I don't know.
That'll be a great game. I'm excited for that. Obviously, two teams who are at the top.
Yeah, Packers. They're now 6-1 to cover the spread. Going to be interesting if they can cover on Thursday.
Speaking of the Packers, what really kills me because I really have kind of embraced the Bengals now all season. Joe Burrow being my dynasty quarterback. Can you imagine if the Bengals didn't go into that kicking style shootout with the Packers and they win that game and then don't somehow lose to the god awful Chicago Bears? That's crazy to me. Early season though, that's where I think that one really just bit them. But man, they could just as easily be 7-0.
I feel like the play calling has gotten more aggressive for the Bengals in the past couple of weeks on offense.
Oh yeah,
I felt like to start the season things were very conservative and they weren't taking as many shots down the field with Chase. Chase has 8 catches over 30 yards. That's more than like 10 or 12 teams in the league right now. It's ridiculous. Dude is lighting it up. He's definitely going to hit my season-long prop on his yardage. That's for certain. He might have it in a couple of weeks, actually. I think it was only like 1,000 yards or so, or 899 or something like that. I don't remember. It's on our website. Yeah, he's having a killer year. Wish Tyler Boyd would do a little bit better.
Yeah, it's tough with Higgins. Higgins obviously dominating a lot of that.
Man. Boyd's been a tough one to feel out week in and week out. Should he be in? Should he be out of my lineup? So pretty much just throw him in and just hope for the best.
Yeah, fair.
Going to be 5-2 in that one where I have Tyler Boyd. So it's been working out. So I think I've said him at least once, but no, I've been loving the Bengals. I can't decide if I want a Chase jersey or if I want a Burrow jersey. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough choice.
But I want to get that Bengals black. I want to get that mean Burrow or Chase blue. That's for sure. I'm getting that. Can't decide which one. May get both. I don't know. Yeah, not really interested in Higgins or Mixon, so I don't know. But yeah, I've been loving the Bengals. They're covering. They're making us money. They're winning games, and they're exciting to watch. They're very fun. They're very fun. Very entertaining team. All right, we are going to head out. I've got Seahawks +4. Who do you got?
Seahawks +5.5.
Bastard. All right. All right. Take care, everybody. Be well, be good. We will be back Wednesday for fantasy hockey. We'll be back with Thursday night football as well and basketball on Friday. Take care. Be good.